Go ahead, number 4. I don't know why you're nervous. No one's even watching. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I'm Steve Mosini.
I'm Cole Diuto.
We're here today. We're going to talk to you about 7 reasons why you should own a home. We'll probably dive into a few other things that we think may be relevant as we start talking about these items. But we really just wanted to keep you informed. Today is April 1st. A lot going on in the world, and the best thing that we can do as agents is give you the most knowledge possible. So we're just going to continue to put out as much content as we can for you. We're still showing houses. We're considered essential to the CDC, the state of Florida. So we are still working. This is our office, but we are working from home as well. All the other agents are home right now. But we're going to dive right in here real quick. We'll just alternate. And so 7 reasons why you should own a home. The first reason is tax benefits. The U.S. tax code lets you deduct the interest you pay on your mortgage, your property taxes, and some of the costs involved in buying a home. So all the money you're spending every month on renting, you're just kind of throwing it away. There are no benefits to you. You can't write it off. So the tax benefits that you get owning a home actually become very substantial for you.
To piggyback off what you said, Steve, tax benefits. One other thing that we look at is the appreciation. Like Steve was just explaining, when you're paying rent, you're paying someone else's mortgage. When you own a home and move forward with purchasing a home, those payments you make every month are paying off an asset that is yours and no one else's. Historically, going back from 1974 till about 2014, there's been a steady appreciation of 5.5% on real estate. And comparing the S&P 500 to real estate over a 50-year span, real estate will generate an 18% return versus the S&P 500, which is right around 10 to 11%. Again, we're all here to build wealth, secure our futures, and with real estate, appreciation is one of the biggest ways you can do that.
The third reason is equity. Money paid for rent is money that you'll never see again, like I said. But mortgage payments let you build up equity ownership interest in your home. Now, what does that mean, Cole?
Well, equity, I think, would go down to savings.
Exactly.
So in regards to purchasing a home, whether you put 3% down or 10% down, you're going to have some type of equity within that home. Going back to renting, that money you pay every month is paying the landlord's mortgage. So savings itself over a long-term basis really starts to show, because year after year, your mortgage payments are staying the same versus paying rent, where year after year, they're going to increase. So in a time like this, with this world pandemic we're going through, I'm sure many of you have rents that are coming up and you're going to have to renew with a minimum of a 3% increase year over year. All of us are trying to cut costs right now. Having a mortgage that already has a set payment that will not change, whether it's a 15-year fixed, 30-year fixed, obviously insurance and taxes will vary on that, but a principal and interest will not change. So savings there, along with you increasing your job, your career, making more money, is only going to help put more equity and more money into your pocket in the long run.
To dive a little deeper into that part of the savings, capital gains is a really big factor in this. So most of the time you could take up generally like $250,000, I think it is,
Single.
For a single person, or $500,000 for a married couple, as gains without owning any federal income tax. So you get to write off a lot more by actually owning the home than you would if you were just renting. So, like I said, these things are super important when you're thinking long term, especially if you're ready to get married, or you're already married and you haven't been doing the correct things filing wise. This can change the whole aspect and save you a ton of money at the end of each year.
Something I want to piggyback off of that, Steve, is right now, with inventory still being low, someone can get the highest price for the sale of their home, and with interest rates being on the lower end, borrow money at one of the cheapest times in history and realize what they can do to get into their dream home. So that's another factor we're taking and steps we're explaining to all clients of ours, that we need to realize, are you in your dream home or not? Because if you're not, we need to take the steps to look at the value of what you're at now, what your payoff is, and what it would take to get you into that dream home.
Number 5, predictability. Unlike rent, your fixed rate mortgage payments don't rise over the years. Your payment is the same, your interest gets lower, your principal payments get higher. So with rent, every year rent increases generally anywhere from 3 to 5%. So depending on where the market is that time of the year or wherever it may be, your rent in a home that you're maybe paying $2,000, $2,500 for, next year could be 26, 27, 28, maybe even 3,000. The demand may be higher. A lot more houses are being built in the area and the rents there are higher, so your rent is going to go up naturally. So having the predictability with owning a home and having the mortgage payments set in stone with your rate locked in, you're able to know exactly what you're going to be paying each month for the duration of the time you're going to be at that home.
In times like these, what we're going through with people losing their jobs and
Exactly.
whatnot, they're on
There's no
a fixed
predictability.
payment.
Exactly.
There's
Right?
no increase or anything like that. And
Added tip here for payments: if you send one extra payment a year, a full payment towards principal, you will knock 7 years off your mortgage. It averages out to be
for a 30 year.
Exactly, for a 30-year mortgage. Definitely something to consider. We advise all of our clients that if you can afford an extra payment a year, to do so. You can even split that payment over 12 months.
Exactly.
So each month you send an extra payment, but make sure you write towards principal. It'll go towards your principal and knock down some of that chunk of money that you really need to pay off.
So the 6th step, freedom. We all know when you rent, yes, you can paint, you can do small things, but you can't make the home truly yours. I think you can attest to that in regards to making it the way you want it to be. And it's no better feeling as a realtor helping clients get into their dream home, and if they're going to do renovations, seeing those renovations play out and seeing how happy they are with where they're at and what they've been able to accomplish, whether it's their first home, an investment property, or the home that they've dreamed of being in. So
Exactly. I mean, a lot of the communities we deal with have, they're like almost like lifestyles. They have all the amenities. You're pretty much living in a place where you don't really need to go very far to get what you need or to do what you want. So definitely the freedom is definitely there. The reason we bring up stability is that, staying in one place, one neighborhood for a good amount of time, 3, 5, 7, 10 years, you really build up great relationships in the community with your neighbors, family, friends. You pretty much know everything about what's going on, new, shops and new restaurants. If you have a family, your children, they grow up, they have tons of friends in the neighborhood. Where I grew up in West Boca, it was pretty much all families. Most of my childhood friends are now my long-term friends. I've known them for 20-something years. And so I know this is not something you really think about, but when you're there, learning, doing everything you're doing on your daily life, go outside, hang out with the kids, someone's barbecuing, it turns into like a really nice thing. And so having that stability, not leaving every year to go find a new place, a new rental. I mean, some people like that. Don't get me wrong. People like to change, but, if you think about it, you sign a lease, you move in. By the time you're really settled, 3 months, 4 months, then you have your whole life that you're trying to manage, work, relationship or whatever. And then the landlord saying, hey, I'm looking for a new tenant now. And that's usually 45 days, 60 days, sometimes 90 days before you have to move out. So it's like it's like a drop bell curve almost. You come in, you enjoy, and then you got to get out.
With all the families we work with, I think that
they look for stability.
Growing up as a child, the friend in the classroom, being consistent with that and growing up with them, like you said, I think is huge in shaping someone. And then again, Steve, with the stability aspect of it all, with all the families we work with, having kids being in the same school, growing up with the same children, and having similar experiences. I mean, I've had clients tell me they want their younger siblings to have the same teachers that their older siblings did and such. So those are perfect examples of how important the stability is. And with owning a home, it's much easier to accomplish that, to provide that for your family. And for a lot of people, I think that's something that's extremely important.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of our clients have been our friends and family friends that we grew up knowing, and football, lacrosse, soccer, baseball, like everything just growing up.
Yeah.
Now we're in this business and people are calling us because they know us, and social media is like the best networking possible. I mean, people you don't really talk to, you reconnect, and then one day they call you for advice or something. So definitely having stability when owning a home is a big factor for a lot of people that we find. Thank you for joining us. Really appreciate you tuning in. Stay tuned for some more updates. We look forward to seeing you and giving you some more information about the market.
We will get through this all. Everyone be safe. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Social distancing,
We'll just power through it.
Social distancing.
All right. Don't go too far. Oh yeah, I was introducing you.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go. I'm Steve.
Okay, and then I'll say I'm Cole.
Okay. All right. I'm Steve Mosini.
This is Cole. Oh, God. I wasn't expecting you to go into it that fast.
On your mortgage, your property. Okay.